What's going on, gamers? So we got a Ghost of Yotei Day 1 patch here. Let's go over these patch notes and see what's going on. Um, Sucker Punch is saying it fixes performance, crashes, and FPS drops. Now, we know this game seems smooth, but apparently there was some of that going on. But this Day 1 patch is supposed to be not just small either, as it says right here. Ghost of Yotei requires PS5 players to download a massive Day 1 patch to fix performance and stability issues. Just letting you know ahead of time. Sucker Punch Productions has revealed that a Ghost of Yotei Day 1 patch will be required to fix many of the game's issues. Here's everything in the massive PS5 update, including all features and improvements. Ghost of Yotei Day 1 patch details. While Day 1 patches are pretty commonplace in 2025, Sony revealed that Ghost of Yotei players will need to download a major update that adds many fixes to the game. The surprise patch is pretty massive in size and includes a handful of substantial improvements. One of the biggest fixes stops the game from crashing after playing for long periods of time. We've known about that from Unreal Engine or something, right? However, the Ghost of Yotei Day 1 patch also includes a handful of performance and stability improvements as well. For example, the update fixes FPS drops in missions where a lot of characters are being rendered on the screen at the same time. So we see that there were some issues going on and they're fixing it. Finally, the update adds improvements to the game's UI, UX, and photo mode. So yeah, you are definitely going to want to download this update before jumping into Ghost of Yotei on October 2nd or at 11 or 12 o'clock on the 1st at that night. You know, you can do that as well. We just screenshot here. Players had mixed reactions to the surprising Day 1 patch. While many PlayStation fans praised Sucker Punch Productions for putting this much effort into the game's launch, some players were critical of the game's release being unfinished on the physical disc, wonder if they had a tighter deadline for this one and a tighter budget. But they did a good job, it seems. Usually, the on disc versions of Sony's games are a bit more polished. A user on Reddit wrote, another player exclaimed, interesting, I didn't hear anything about performance from the reviews. That is kind of interesting. All Ghost of Yotei Day 1 patch notes, features, fixes, and improvements. As mentioned above, the Ghost of Yotei Day 1 patch is pretty extensive. It has around 80 improvements in total that range from smaller performance issues to major stability issues. For example, the PS5 patch fixes the game's ray tracing mode, which early Ghost of Yotei reviews said had performance problems. So they did say that. I didn't read the review, so I don't know. Here's what I have to say though. My thing is, when it comes to this type of stuff, I respect that you're being honest about what was going on and that you're launching it and it's fixed. You didn't give me the product with that. What matters is the product that I'm getting. So I'm not going to try to make up this big deal about something when I don't even have the game. You know what I mean? I have to see how it performs when it's my experience that I actually hit the buy button for. All this stuff is before it launches, so that's something on their end that they're dealing with. And I've always looked at things that way. Now, if you launch a game that's not finished on purpose, then yeah, of course, it's a problem because that's what I'm buying and getting. But if you're telling me you're fixing all of this and I didn't experience it, then I don't see how that's a problem for me because I'm not experiencing it. So going down, we're going to get to these patch notes. Now, here it is. For your convenience, here's a full list. Now, getting to performance and stability, I'll zoom in a little bit for you guys. It says multiple improvements to environmental rendering performance, fixed issues affecting ray tracing mode, lighting consistency, and performance. And we know if you got a Pro 2, you're definitely looking forward to something like this. And just in general, because this game is, the engine is pretty damn good. Changes to improve performance and stability while in photo mode for people who like that and like to post stuff, you know. Various improvements to performance in missions with high character counts. That definitely matters. Resolved uncommon crashes when playing or idling for long periods of time. So I guess it's leaking out, idle leak. Fixed rare crashes related to loading certain saves. So rare crashes, but of course loading saves, crashing. With those two together, we don't want that. Have that cloud ready. What they say they fixed it. But yeah, these are things that of course could be annoying to people. So I'm kind of glad that they got on this. And yeah, the high character count, definitely something you want. So going down to gameplay, we see audio fixes to allow impact sound effects to correctly match surface types. If you want that true, authentic samurai experience, that matters. Fixed several bugs in mini games like Bamboo Chop and Zenny Hajiki. Fixed an occasional long delay when starting Buddy Grapple Pull. Fixed pumpkins appearing transparent during the kunai training section. We got interrogation camera transitions to avoid popping between angles, camera improvements for world navigation when using tools in combat, improvements in camera behavior when engaged in combat, especially in optional camera modes. And we got more bugs and exploits during duels, balance adjustments to weapons and charms, especially related to late game content. So maybe some people found some overpowered exploits when they did the reviews and they saw that. So they're going to balance that. Various balance adjustments and bug fixes to lethal difficulty. If that's a nerf or if that's making it harder, I don't know. Maybe I think they're probably toning it down a little bit because we got balance adjustments here too to weapons and charms. It doesn't say buffing, so that tells me a tone down. Fix bugs related to picking and throwing dropped weapons. Balance adjustments again, and bug fixes to stealth kills with weapons other than the katana. Fix bugs with mission dialogue were being cut short due to player or NPC actions. We also have bugs and missions that players could perceive as blocking progress. Oof, I hate that stuff. I think there was one mission like that in Ghost of Tsushima, if I'm not mistaken, that people were worried about, but they ended up patching. You don't want your platinum to be bugged. That would suck. Various mission area improvements to help with mission flow and easier navigation. Limit puzzles, clues in some difficulty levels. Prevent the horse from interrupting certain mission objectives or cutscenes. What? Remove the ability to decapacitate bounty capture targets. Fix the bug causing standoff to select faraway enemies. Various adjustments and balance changes to wolf abilities, such as when fighting enemy leaders. Prevent systematic enemies from appearing when the player is following foxes. Added the ability for the player to open photo mode via R1 during certain stages. Camping. And then we just see right here, reduce the occurrence of tutorials when camping, improve the enemy responses to player actions in combat scenarios. There's a lot of changes here. Various economy and loot balance changes to common metals, improved behavior of Sato's man, hunting for Apsu in the open world. And then we have a lot of animation fixes here, which we don't have to read all that. A lot of environmental fixes when it comes to textures and caves loading up and all this. We see this updated lower level of details on various tree sets around the world to prevent visual popping and all that. We know about this type of stuff, memory logging and all that. So it seems that they went in and have significantly improved this. This is not just a light patch here. As we see here, set dressing and world interaction to provide more unique experiences, improving appearance and performance of some flower types. They are literally improving textures and assets within various caves and dens across the game for general quality polish. So improvements and optimization across many assets throughout the game to improve performance. So this definitely is important, and kudos to them for being honest and letting us know what we're getting here. Because if you do watch the trailer, you're like some of the newer stuff, you'll most likely get what they want to show you, but you're not going to get every detail of the game, you know. So we're seeing all that here and just how ridiculously long this stuff is. And then down here, you got UI fixing down here, making things better. Key items, UI elements, large text elements, you know how this type of stuff is down here. And then we got Ghost of Yotei Day 1 patch size. So down here it says, as of writing, Sucker Punch Productions hasn't confirmed the size of the patch. According to early preloads on PlayStation 5, Ghost of Yotei's game size is roughly 85 gigs. However, it's unclear whether the massive Day 1 patch will increase the total size or not. Regardless, players planning to jump into Yotei at launch should make sure to clear some space for their PS5 for the Sucker Punch RPG. With the game needing an update this big, you should also plan to set aside some time to actually download it, as the PSN servers will likely be working overtime at launch. So there you have it, guys. Let me know what you think about this patch and about the improvement and how the drama came from the beginning all the way up to over here. You know how it is. So it looks like things are turning around. Let's see how these patches are going to work at launch. All right, y'all. Peace out. Have a great day. Later.